Hello guys and welcome back to League One predictions. We are back predicting the third tier of English football. We've got a full set of fixtures after the international break. Some big games to talk about, of course, from last weekend where Stockport were the big winners in the top half and there's a rising tide down at the bottom. And also Jack Wilshere has gone into Luton Town. So much to talk about. And of course, we're joined as always by the brilliant Benjamin Bloom. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Looking forward to talking about Jack Wilshere, but we'll do that when we get to the Luton game. Blackpool still open, Matt. Matt Bloomfield, 5-2 favourite, so he could jump straight from Luton to Blackpool there again. I'll ask you about that when we get to that game.
Yes, lots to talk about as always in League One, guys. Do share your comments down below. Make sure to get your predictions down below. Like I say, there's a full set of fixtures, so get involved. Be sure to drop a like. Make sure to subscribe to Benjamin Bloom. The first link in the description. Get over there and hit that subscribe button. Then let's get into the fixtures. We start on Thursday night with Huddersfield Town versus Bolton, a big game at the top end of League One. I think these two just drew each other in the Monday night FA Cup first round draw as well, actually. Ben, what are we saying? Bolton, of course, 3-0 defeat to Burton. I mean, where's that come from? I mean, Burton are trending in the right direction, I suppose, at the minute, but a terrible defeat for them. Huddersfield didn't play over the international break. Their most recent game was a 2-1 defeat to Stockport. It's been a 2-week gap. Make of that what you will.
Yeah, so you don't know whether you're going to get a reaction from Bolton or whether they're going to be wounded. Certainly Huddersfield will be rested, like you mentioned, and they've got the home advantage. And I don't know, it feels like when it comes to Bolton, we're kind of waiting for it to take off. You mentioned like a few weeks ago it'd been draw heavy and then they won 2 in 3. And Huddersfield, decent, good start, but it's 1 win in 4 now, isn't it? I mean, they sprinted out the blocks. League One was making it look easy. Matt, if I'm adding a 3-0 defeat to Burton plus home advantage together, I'm coming up with a Huddersfield win in this one. I think they got goal power. Go both teams to score. Let's go 2-1 Huddersfield.
Yeah, I quite like that. I'm tempted to go with the Huddersfield win, Ben. I haven't actually written down a prediction for this one yet. I was going to wait to see what you had to say.
You just scribble it out anyway, won't you?
This is an interesting one. I think something you said when Huddersfield took on Stockport County, which did come to light, was that this is Lee Grant up against Chandler, and Chandler's got that experience and maybe just that bit more know-how in those head-to-head games, which Grant might pick up. And I wonder if it'll be the same here against Bolton. Bolton, though, Ben, haven't won a single away game this season, which is sticking out at me. So the best I could give Bolton is a draw, but I wonder, after last Saturday, I'm not going to go with Bolton to get anything. I'll go Huddersfield 1-0. I will join you back in the Terriers. Massive game, though, isn't it, Ben? Because these are two teams we'd expect to at least be in the playoffs, and they're both currently outside. They've both got to try and get something, haven't they?
This is what we get in League One, though, Matt, don't we? We get big clubs with big histories going up against each other, and, you know, new money comes into the Championship and into the Premier League. I dare even... I'm sure Huddersfield and Bolton fans would talk about, say, Bournemouth, you know, and say, oh, well, look at our history and look at our size. But, yeah, we are where we are. And if you missed the gold rush, here you are. And we've seen both of these sides in the Premier League in the not too distant past.
Yeah, absolutely. Share your thoughts, Huddersfield and Bolton fans. Ben, let's go to the Pirelli. Burton Albion versus Peterborough United, a big relegation 6-pointer. Ben, Burton Albion always seem to do this at some point. They'll look dead and buried. I know it's early on in the season, but they look like the standout worst team. And now they're the form team. Incredible run recently and a 3-0 win over Bolton. They take on Posh Ben, who are now bottom, and they need points because Burton, you know, if you lose to the teams around you down at the bottom, you can start to get buried. And I know there's not a massive gap between Peterborough and Burton at the minute, but once that gap starts to become 6-7 points, it really starts to open up. I can't back Posh though, Ben. I know they've picked up a couple of results sort of sporadically. They got those back-to-back wins, but I'm going to go with Burton here, Ben. I'll go for a close game. I'll go 2-1 to the Brewers.
Yeah, I'll give Posh another goal. We'll go the Desmond. And like you say, Matt, I think just keeping at arm's length, and let's be honest, Burton are the masters of, you know, and they're not going to be panicking in October, are they, about relegation? But if they can, we say it so many times in relegation fights, you just pull out just the odd win, just a one every few weeks, you're going to be all right. And if you can, as big lad Beasley scored a couple of goals, I rode their luck with a couple of chances, but they made loads as well, Burton. So they've got it in them to just randomly win the odd game, or even better, Matt, as they're doing at the moment, go on a little win streak and 7 points in 3. I think they'd take the draw, but yeah, maybe to your point, they'll be thinking, oh, win that 8-point gap over bottom of the table, and you're starting to tick things off, certainly in the short term, aren't you? So I'll take the Desmond.
Yeah, starting to look towards the playoffs, hey, Ben. What a great run they're on at the minute. Do share your thoughts. Big game down at the bottom, I must say. This one definitely involves two teams in the playoff picture, Ben. You've got Lincoln, who are 6th, and Stevenage, who are still top of the league, of course, didn't play last weekend. Will that 2-week break have done them any good, Ben? I don't suppose. Well, it could do if they can pick up that momentum where it left off, but they might have wanted to play last week. Where'd you go with this one? They've both been really impressive.
It's insanity. I hadn't noticed. So Lincoln are 3 points ahead of Stockport with 2 games in hand. Yeah. Absolutely absurd. Stevenage, excuse me. It's absolutely absurd how good they've been, isn't it? I don't know. We're almost waiting week on week. When's the bad run going to start? When do Stevenage turn into a playoff team? If memory serves, Lincoln have been good at home. Wasn't there that smash and grab there last time?
Against Exeter.
Wasn't it? Okay. I'm going to play another draw, mate. I'm going to take a 1-1 in this one. I'm going to sit on the fence and watch in fascination and see what happens to Stevenage over the, how many games are we probably until Christmas? I don't know whether they're going to fill in with a couple of their games in hand, but it's a run of say 10 games now for Stevenage where if they're in any way average or above, they are in a major automatic promotion race here, aren't they?
The form is incredible, isn't it, Ben? And
they have to be, don't they?
Yeah, they're not
2.5 points per game.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? Like you say, the game's in hand. Who knows? Could they open up the gap? That's what you really want, isn't it? But Lincoln City, Ben, I mean, they've also got a game in hand on Stockport, who you referenced. And if they were to win that, they're 2 points ahead of Stockport. So they've still been incredible. It's just Stevenage are stealing the limelight. I quite like your prediction. I do think Lincoln could be worth a draw here. But Stevenage just keep nabbing these games, don't they, Ben? Like I say, they're not smashing anyone. I think their biggest win this season is by 2 goals. I'll back them by 1 goal here. I'll go 1-0 Stevenage, Ben. I am well on board.
28
the
points.
Train.
Counting them down, mate. Counting them down, yeah.
Incredible. Right, share your thoughts, guys. Let's go to Bloomfield Road. Blackpool take on Wycombe Wanderers. Ben, you spoke about, did you mention Matt Bloomfield being linked with the Blackpool job? So he might be going to Bloomfield Road. Interesting if he comes in before this one.
Odds on favourite, it said, Matt.
Wow, okay. So, I mean,
the market like it, yeah.
And if he comes in before Saturday here, Ben, he takes on Wycombe Wanderers, which should be interesting. Blackpool, Ben, I mean, to be honest, a 1-0 defeat at Stockport while they were managerless, I think that's fairly encouraging, given how poor things are at the minute where they are in the table. Stockport away is one of the hardest games. Blackpool have got to get something now, Ben. It's all well and good saying, oh, this was a bit better, but look at where they are. Wycombe have been all right, though, haven't they? They've been all right under Duff. That's a good win at the weekend.
I didn't realise they had Bell from Bristol City on loan. I thought he was quite decent. He was in the first team for a long while, wasn't he?
Surprised to see him in League One. Yeah, I
agree. He popped up with a goal in the last game, and I'm like, is that the same Bell? I didn't realise, yeah.
And Wycombe are doing a bit better, aren't they? So that's 7 points in 4 under Duff.
Yeah, go figure.
Blackpool have got to get something. Go on, let's go for a bonus point. Both teams can be a bit open. Let's go Blackpool 3-2.
That's mental, Matt. I love it. So, again, we're sat here. If I can break the fourth wall, it's late on Monday night. So, there is a chance that there'll be a new manager in at Blackpool, but I don't like it for them. You already mentioned that Duff will put points on the board in League One. I've always been a big fan. I'm kind of went in hard on Huddersfield and got left with egg on my face, didn't I? But I'm going to go for an away win. I'm going to go for a 2-0 away win. Blackpool 0, Wycombe 2. Wycombe to climb the table with Duffer.
Wow, okay, yeah, really good result for Wycombe, and it puts some distance between them and Blackpool, Ben. I mean, at what point do we really get worried for Blackpool? Because if that plays out, that's 8 points from 13, and, there's a lot of teams that we thought might be down here that are actually doing a lot better, and Blackpool are getting left behind.
Do you not think they'll get a little bounce when the new manager comes in?
They should do. I just worry that, once you're 5 or 6 below a point per game, you need a really good run to start pulling away. And with 4 going down, we say it's a big trapdoor, isn't it? Right, Ben, let's go to Valley Parade. Bradford City take on Barnsley in another Yorkshire derby. Barnsley, has the flame gone out a little bit, Ben? They've dropped out of the playoff picture at the minute. No wins in 3, of course, didn't play last week. But they take on Bradford, Ben, who've been fantastic, and we like them at Valley Parade. What are you saying?
Yeah, it feels, I agree with all your pointers. It feels like a home win with both teams to score, doesn't it? Hurahan, I suppose a little bit like Lee Grant, went out of the traps well as kind of an untested manager, and it was lots of fun and games. It feels like the winter is coming, and the results have kind of tailed off a little bit, and Bradford showing no signs of tailing off. And yeah, it's a big advantage, that home crowd at Valley Parade, isn't it? It feels like it'll be open as well. So I'm gonna go 3-1 Bradford.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm going to go with Bradford, and I like what you say, both teams to score. It does feel like winter is coming, as you say, and I'll say that Bradford City are the king in the north in League One. They're doing great. I'll back them 2-1. If
anyone wants to say I look like Jon Snow, I will very much take it.
Go on, Ben. I think you look just like him.
Thanks, mate. I'll take it.
But that'd be, Ben, 6 wins out of 6 at home. If you make your home ground a fortress, Valley Parade is. I mean, they've been good away from home as well, to be fair, Bradford City, but if you keep sticking 3 points on the board at home, Bradford will be right up there.
Did they have a good home record last season? I don't recall in the promotion. Was it stacked at home?
I think it was.
It probably would. Normally, it's promoted teams, isn't it?
Yeah, I just remember though, towards the end of the season, they kind of fell over the finish line. I think they only won one of their last 6 or 7 games, home and away. But they were good last season. Even better this season. What a start, Ben. Let's go to Cardiff City versus Reading. Cardiff City, Ben, currently sit in 3rd place. They'll be hoping for a slip from Bradford or Stevenage.
Bradford were miles the best home team in 11 points, the best home team in League 2 last year, 55 points, 17 wins in 23. So we were not misremembering that. Sorry, mate. You just beautifully set up the Yaku Maite derby between Reading. Thank you, mate. I'm here all week.
No, I like that. But as well, like you say, Ben, with Bradford City, just going back to the point you were making there, that Valley Parade factor could be massive. I suppose it's a bit like Portsmouth with Fratton Park and Leeds with Ellen Road. Yeah. Right, Cardiff Reading. I'm up first for this one, as you say, the Yaku Maite derby. Cardiff need a result to keep on the heels of Bradford and Stevenage. I like them at home, Ben. I like them for goals. Reading sort of trying to fight their way out of the bottom 4, aren't they? They got a draw last time against Exeter, which I think you predicted 1-1 last weekend. Let's go Cardiff 2-1.
I saw the Reading Twitter getting behind Jack Marriott. That's quite a nice story. He's put a few goals on, and he always was just a bit of a, I say it in the nicest way, a bit of a goal hanger. Do you know what I mean? Just doesn't do a lot in the game, but just the whole time just sprinting in behind, nicking goals. So it's always good to have that type of player. But even though we had that Cardiff home defeat, didn't we, recently? Who was it, Matt, who went there and...
Bradford.
Of course, it was Bradford, wasn't it? And
Burton, wasn't it? Burton, I think, won that.
Oh, God, in the midweek, rearranged. Oh, okay. Is the bloom off the rose a little bit for Cardiff at home? Well, let's flip that. I fancy Cardiff to win this, so I'm going to say they're going to bounce back at home. Did you take 2-1, Matt?
I did.
Yeah, that's scribble territory then, because if I'm back in Marriott, I'll play for a bonus point. You threw one in earlier. It's classic. We call so many 3-2s in this just to get the 5 goals in, don't we? 3-2.
I like it. Well, to be fair, Ben, I think Cardiff's last home game was at the 4-3 against Orient. So if it's anything like that,
Oh
You never
God,
know.
yeah.
They've had some crazy games down in South Wales, haven't they?
Well, I thought at the start of the season it was all very tight and they weren't conceding any chances, but it's obviously over the last few gone a bit crazy down there, hasn't it?
Right, Ben, let's go to the keep mode. Doncaster Rovers take on Northampton Town. Should we be worried about Doncaster, Ben? That's
Yeah.
1 point in 5. I mean, they're still 10th.
4-0, yeah, at the weekend.
Oh, mate. We'll come on to Leyton Orient shortly, where there's some great goals to talk about from Don Ballard in particular. But for Doncaster, Ben, it just goes to show how good their start was, because 1 point in 5 and they're still 10th. But Northampton, Ben, they've been all right 14th. They did lose at the weekend, though. They threw it away late on against Rotherham.
As soon as we've kind of livened up on Northampton and we're down on Rotherham, it goes complete. It's typical predictions result, that one, wasn't it? Sorry, carry on, mate.
Well, you're up first for this. I'm curious to see what you have to say.
I'm tempted to back Northampton just for pure, variety reasons. Am I misremembering? It was strong at home for Doncaster to start with as well, wasn't it? So, I mean, Northampton just stitched me up over and again, don't they? So just let it be known, I was hot on Northampton and then they've screwed me over last time. So I will back Doncaster to get their first result in a while here. Or maybe I'll play the draw. Let's play the draw. Desmond, Doncaster 2, Northampton 2.
The thing is, Northampton games are usually low scoring, aren't they? I think they've scored 2 away from home in 5 games this season. I reckon Doncaster are going to get back up and running here. Let's go 1-0. It won't be pretty, but they're going to snatch 3 points and they'll get, who knows, Ben? I mean, a win for Doncaster and they might suddenly break back into the top 6 or 7. That's how good their start to the season was. But yeah, I'll go 1-0 to Doncaster and Ben's got the 2-2. Ben, let's go to Kenilworth Road. Luton Town versus Mansfield Town. Ben, tell me, Luton Town bringing in Jack Wilshere. What's your thoughts?
Well, loved him as a player. He's the type of player that every World Cup that they say that we say that England don't have, that can control the game and keep the ball and play like a foreign player. Well liked. Did he do the 18s or the 21s at Arsenal? I can't remember. But well liked at Norwich and was around, from my understanding, the discussions for the job there. I know he took the team a couple of times at the end of last season. So he obviously interviews well. He's obviously highly rated around clubs. It feels quite on brand for Luton, doesn't it? They try and do things in a progressive way, and giving a young manager like that his first full-time gig feels quite Luton-y, doesn't it? But we were sat here saying, right, they need a safe pair of hands here, don't they? And it's the complete opposite of that. But I like the hire. I believe he's from around there as well.
Stevenage.
So it's not...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's not just a random, right, this is the best job I can get at this point, I'm going to take it. And as we've said many times, we said there'd be tons of applications from managers for this job, weren't there? So I suspect there'll be a lot more experienced, maybe higher qualified managers who will have applied for this job and not got it as well. What's your take?
I quite like it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it obviously could go the wrong way, and there are high expectations for Luton to be right up there this season, so that brings its own pressure. But it's a good opportunity for Jack Wilshere to prove himself. I completely agree with what you said. I thought he was such a talented footballer, of course, plagued with injuries, but a very intelligent footballer. And I wonder if he could take that into his coaching. I think it was the 18s he did at Arsenal, and then he had a couple of games at Norwich, didn't he? And I think they did okay in those couple of games, but obviously a very small sample size. But he's got to start off somewhere, hasn't he? And we don't really know what's going to come of it. But I think, this is a really, really good, well-run club with a real opportunity to get him into the Championship straight away and a promotion already on his CV. But like I say, with it being a club with high expectations at this level, that brings its own risks. And if it doesn't work out, then that's not the best start for his career. But I like it from Luton. As you say, they could have gone more experienced, but could prove to be a masterstroke.
Can I play devil's advocate? Can we still say Luton is well run? They've had a pretty hapless couple of years, haven't they, in terms of the way they approach the Premier League? I know we sit here and say, don't sell the farm, don't bet the farm on survival, but they got it wrong, didn't they? And then they held on to Rob Edwards for too long, and Matt Bloomfield's now been signed and sacked.
Yeah.
And they spent money in January to stay in the Championship as well. And they were it's a shame, actually, because we used to say about Plymouth as well, these brilliantly run clubs punching their weight. But, I mean, I love Luton, and I live down this way. So geographically it works for me. But I wonder whether we park the well-run club for a little bit, because let me just say, they need to prove it back to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We stand at a moment where you could definitely say it isn't a well-run club, because that's 2 relegations, 2 years of no real sense of direction. But if they get promoted this season, then we could be like, oh, they're kind of back on track now, aren't they? I always thought the Premier League was going to be a massive step up, and like maybe too much for Luton, of course. That season, the door opened up, and I would have thought if Coventry had gone up, we'd have probably come back down. I suppose we did have Hamer and Gyökeres, but that's a separate conversation. Obviously, a lot of money at Luton's gone towards the new stadium, which obviously still isn't ready yet. And that's
fair enough, yeah.
That's a big thing, I guess. But I definitely circle last season as a big failure as a club. The Premier League relegation, they put up a fight. I wouldn't even say it was the worst thing in the world, because they finished above Sheffield United and Burnley. But yeah, last season, you could definitely say that was a 12 months of absolute failure. So I take your point on that. But still, I think a club well placed for a promotion.
No, I agree with that, yeah.
Who's up first, Ben? I think it's me. Should we go for the Jack Wilshere win? Do we like that narrative?
I'm going to, yeah.
Okay, do you know what? I'll leave you that then. I will take a draw. Mansfield, bit unpredictable. Both teams to score with Mansfield. Let's take a 1-1.
There's always both teams to score with Mansfield, and I might play for a bonus point here, and we'll go for a lightning fast start. We don't know, and I don't want to speculate on anything, but sometimes if the players maybe weren't having the manager, they come out, they have a lovely week training, they're enjoying everything, they play with beautiful freedom, and they win 4-1. So I'll play for the bonus point, and I'll go for, I can't call him Captain Jack, that's Jack Grealish, isn't it? But Matt will come up with a nickname for Jack Wilshere for us. But I'll go for him to win 4-1 on debut, and then retire as the greatest manager of all time.
Yeah, I like that. Can we call him Jack in the Hat? Does that work as the Hatters? I don't know. That might
let's get the comments on that one, yeah.
That was terrible. The only thing I would say for Jack Wilshere against Nigel Clough, though, I would say it's the ultimate clash of experience versus inexperience, though, isn't it? And
Mansfield might take the lead, mightn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if Mansfield will see Luton coming in that regard. Maybe, I don't know, but we'll see. Okay, share your thoughts. Let's move down to Devon, Ben. We've got Plymouth Argyle, and it's AFC Wimbledon's turn to make the long journey that we always talk about down there. Wimbledon, Ben, only a draw against Port Vale last time, but we'll give Port Vale their flowers when we talk about them. It's still got Wimbledon 5th in the table, Ben.
Amazing.
Where Plymouth would want to be.
Did you say Johnny had got a new contract?
Yes, he has. That's good news. Yeah, well, they're definitely a club that's trending in the right direction at the minute. And can you imagine back-to-back promotions for them? Plymouth are obviously going to want to start climbing towards the playoffs. So it's a game Plymouth need to win, especially at home. Ben, you're up first.
I can't imagine Wimbledon getting back-to-back promotions, because I think someone will give me the correct stats. Didn't they go from in their former iteration back in the 80s? They went all the way from the bottom right up to the top and won the FA Cup. Obviously, I know a lot of people get very triggered by that conversation and say it's a new club and whatever. But that's what I think of when I think of Wimbledon and back-to-back promotions and Dave Bassett and I don't know, whoever did all the promotions there. It's a difficult one though, going down to Plymouth, isn't it? But on form, I've got to give them something, Matt. Can I play under 2.5 for Wimbledon? A 1-1 draw makes some sense for me. I don't see Wimbledon going there and winning despite being 5th in the league. But I'll give them a point. 1-1.
Yeah, and I think Wimbledon will be happy with that, with the run they're on. You go to Plymouth and a long journey and you take the draw and it keeps that gap you've got over Plymouth Argyle, whereas the pressure's more on Plymouth to win it. I think Plymouth did draw their last game before the international break. That was the 1-1 against Wigan. I mean, I like Wimbledon at the minute, Ben, but I just think Plymouth are going to come good. They're going to finish a lot higher than where they are at the minute. The quality they've got in their team. So I will back them narrowly. And surely that at some point, I know it's not really been a thing so far.
By the way,
season,
Matt, sorry to interrupt, mate. Quickly, penny for Tom Cleverley's thoughts, being Watford have changed manager again since he's been sacked there.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. 9 games Paolo Pezzolano lasted, longer than most.
Ludicrous. Carry on, mate. Sorry.
I will back Plymouth then. I will go 2-1 just on the quality aspect and the surely going to start rising up the table at some point aspect. I mean, Ben, they can't finish in the bottom half, this Plymouth team. And like I say, I was going to say that they've got to start making Home Park a fortress in League One again. It was obviously the season they went up. I'll back them here 2-1. But credit to Wimbledon for the run they're on at the minute. Next up then, we go to the New York Stadium as Rotherham United take on Leyton Orient. And yes, if you haven't already guessed, we're recording this as a second part for the video because I did have technical issues last night. So I do want to say a massive thank you to Ben for joining me the following day to finish this off. We've still got 3 games to get through. And like I say, it's Rotherham versus Leyton Orient, which was, of course, a playoff final about 10 years ago, which Rotherham won to get promoted. They both come into this, Ben, on the back of a win last weekend. Leyton Orient smashing Doncaster 4-0. We said Don Ballard had a great game. Rotherham, Ben, they won away from home. It's their first points on the road this season. They went to Northampton and won late on. I just think Leyton Orient, it's more. I just think it's going to be more sustainable for them to build on that. I mean, that was a convincing win over Doncaster, and I could see them climbing towards the playoff picture as they did last season. They had a great run in the middle part of the season. So I'm sorry, Rotherham, but I'm going to go Rotherham 1, Leyton Orient 2.
Yeah, you've got to be looking at that goal power now at Leyton Orient with Connolly and Ballard. Ballard's an interesting one, Matt. I didn't realise he's actually their player. I thought, because he went out on loan a few times, and I remember doing a bit on him when Southampton came into the Championship. We're looking at, right, who are the young players that might come through? And, you know, his goal scoring numbers were to die for at kind of representative younger age. So, yeah, I think you might see him find this spot in League One and then he might be going up and up and up again. Yeah, I agree with you. Rotherham are just confusing, aren't they? We said when we did the Northampton business, didn't we, that you know, we had it kind of around the other way. But yeah, I just like the Orient goal power here. So, being as I've done a costume change and we've had that, do you ever go to a game that gets interrupted? You're always like, right, which team are going to cope with the stoppage the best and get back into their stride? I'm obviously just going to go all in and play for a bonus point now. So I'll go for a 2-3. I'll go for Orient to win 3-2. And yeah, apologies if I said anything there about Doncaster or Orient that I've already said on the video because it was literally 12 hours ago.
Yeah. I hope people are going to be understanding. I'm sure they will be.
The YouTube comments, the ever-understanding YouTube comments, Matt, yeah.
Oh, no. Leyton Orient, though, Ben, I mean, that'd be another, obviously, that'd be back-to-back wins, and that'd put them back into the top half. And, yeah, like I say, I could imagine them sniffing around the playoffs. We thought they might have a slowish start because of the sort of rebuilding and of the team, obviously, with the loan players there last season. But Rotherham could do with back-to-back wins as well. Ben, let's go to Edgeley Park. Stockport County take on Exeter City. It was just a 1-0 win for Stockport over Blackpool, but 3 points is 3 points, and it's put them into the playoff picture. It feels like it's taken them a long time, but I suppose they've taken advantage of the fact that not everyone was playing last week to break in there. Exeter, Ben, 4 points in 2. It's a little uptick, but is it sustainable?
Not away at Stockport, I don't think. No. And yeah, we were discussing this when we mentioned Stevenage about, you know, Stevenage being 3 points ahead of Stockport with 2 games in hand, and kind of, they sort of use Stockport as a barometer where we say, if you're above them, you're probably in the automatic race, and if you're just below them, you're probably in the playoff race, aren't you? But they are in good form, aren't they? I hadn't realised it's 10 points in 4 because we were saying they'd hit the buffers a little bit. So, no, I'm not sure. I mean, we mentioned the smashy and grabby nature of Exeter's incredible win at Lincoln, didn't we? So I'm not sure it is sustainable. I'm sure the Exeter fans will hope I'm completely wrong about that. But Matt, if you probably take our last 30 predictions for Stockport at home, we've probably had win most times, haven't we? So I'll go for that. Let's go 2-0 Stockport.
Yeah, I like that. I make Stockport strong favourites here. Exeter City, as you say, it seems a little bit smashy and grabby, some of the results they have picked up. I think they've only scored 3 goals on the road in 6 away games so far this season, Ben. So they're not
good.
Yeah, they're going to be coming here hoping that they can keep Stockport from scoring 2. If Stockport only score 1, maybe Exeter get out with a draw. But I reckon Stockport will keep them out. I'm just going to go for the 1-0 Stockport, the trusty old 1-0 Stockport at Edgeley Park. Another 3 points on the board, Ben. And, at home, they're always good. I think they've only lost to Bradford at home this season, Ben. Really impressive, by the way, from Bradford, that they've actually won at Stockport. They've won at Cardiff. They've been fantastic.
Yeah, we've got them as home flat track bullies. Yeah, that's not true at all, is it?
And on to the final game then, Ben. We have Wigan Athletic versus Port Vale. Wigan losing 1-0 at home to Wycombe Wanderers during the international break. Port Vale, Ben, they are trending in the right direction. They picked up a draw against Wimbledon, a very credible result, and that's a good little run from Port Vale at the minute. I make that 11 points in their last 5. Obviously started slow, but the results is sort of catching up with the performances at the minute. I thought they've played well for the large part of this season, and maybe another result here and they climb towards that top half. I'm going to back them, Ben. I'm going to go Wigan 1, Port Vale 2.
Yeah, I think I agree. And we had our spy, Mr. Parkin, down at Wimbledon Port Vale, and he has publicly not been a fan of Darren Moore's Sheffield Wednesday, but is a fan of Darren Moore's Port Vale. He said they were good value to get something, and he said they were easy on the eye as well. And I've got to admit, I didn't find Darren Moore's Sheffield Wednesday easy on the eye. They were a pretty effective team and obviously scored tons of points at League One level. And Darren Moore's always been, to me, Mr. Consistent. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get him do anything genius in game to tweak this, but I think on process and repetition and keeping it level, I think he's very good actually. So I like the idea of this streak continuing then as well, but it is a scribble. I did have 2-1 down, so what I might do is play a bit tactically against you, Matt, although Wigan's form is poor, isn't it? I'm going to go for a Desmond, but I don't mind the Port Vale win at all.
Yeah, I quite like that. We've said that Wigan have been quite entertaining at times. Seem to have goals flying in both directions. So we've got the Desmond and the Port Vale away win. And that wraps up the League One predictions, guys. Thank you so much for your brilliant support as always. Be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe. Of course, subscribe to Benjamin Bloom, the first link in the description, who I'm very grateful for, obviously coming on every week, and for putting up with my technical issues this week. So be sure to subscribe over there. And there's lots of content coming out, isn't there, Ben?
Yeah, we spoke to George Ellick, who I'm a big fan of, actually, from the Not the Top 20 podcast today. And we got Big Sam Parkin as well. He's on doing the predictions Wednesday. And then we get the rarity. It's Ipswich Town on the watch-along on Friday. If you want to see me squirm, come and pop in Middlesbrough Ipswich on Friday night. There won't be a watch-along on Saturday, but I'll be back with the hot takes on Sunday. And Matt works tirelessly on his YouTube channel. He's having a couple of technical difficulties today. He doesn't need people screaming and shouting at him, and we'll get them fixed. And it's all going to be lovely next week, isn't it, Matt?
We hope so. No, thank you so much, Ben. And thank you once again to the brilliant viewers for your support. Like I say, check out Benjamin Bloom. Lots of content coming out, especially with the EFL Championship having a 3-game week next week. So get involved with all of that. And we'll see you all very soon. Take care. Peace out.